Good morning, Jackson, Mississippi, and all surrounding areas. You have tuned in to the Free Range Human Show of Choice. Your daily dose of reality radio starts now. I am your host, Clay Edwards, and this, my friends, is the Clay Edwards Show. I know we've got a lot of new listeners. I can look at the numbers and tell that we've had a massive week of growth. It's been growing a little bit, but this week we shattered the glass ceiling. It's been a huge week here on the show. Look, it's been a lot of news going on. I know you're not just here for my hot takes and opinions. There's a lot going on, and this is one of the local shows that will bring the truth to you. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. The podcast numbers. I tell you what, if I was an advertiser, and I just so happen to be an advertiser on my own show here, if I was an advertiser, I would seriously be considering WYAB and the Clay Edwards Show, or one of our other great lineup of shows. But speaking of mine in particular, I know our podcast numbers saw a 300% increase this month alone. That is insane. I'm sorry, not this month. This week, well, this month too. It is the beginning of a month. A 300% increase. All right, so look, we are streaming live on Facebook. And speaking of that, we've done 3 videos. We've streamed live in the studio 3 times this week. This was number 4. We've already had nearly 10,000 views of those videos. We've had another 6,000 downloads of the podcast this week. I'm telling you, and that I don't even know how many people are listening live, but I know it's a bunch based on how many phone calls we get. So if you're a small business, independently owned, locally owned, nationally owned, we prefer local. That's what we do here. We support local businesses. Holler at your boy, man. Would love to consider having you as a partner on the show. We're growing fast, and we've got a little bit of room left for a couple more partners, but inventory is selling out fast, and we would love to have you on. The Mack Hike of Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Flowwood. The Mack Hike of Chrysler. Let me say that again. The Mack Hike Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Flowwood phone line is 601-879-0002. And if you prefer to text, and a lot of people do, heck, believe it or not, I never called into a talk radio show before in my life until I started hosting one. Or I just never called into one. But we do have a text line. 769-241-1944. Again, one more time. The text line is 769-241-1944. Would love to hear from you guys. And I keep that goes to my cell phone. None of the other hosts get that one right now. So if you text it in the afternoons, that does come to me. But on the flip side of that, I'm available to talk to you guys anytime, not just when I'm on the air. If you want to text me throughout the day, text me. I will answer any questions I can. I'll have any conversation I can within reason to be able to, if I'm not busy or whatnot. So 769-241-1944. I know the phone is ringing. Guys, I'll get to y'all in just a second. Just stay on hold for me. We're going to get through a few things here, and then we will jump on the phone. I know it's blowing up this morning. Good morning to everybody. Wow, what a crazy week it's been. Look, what's the weather supposed to be like today? Is it going to rain today? I tell you what, it has been so hot this week that I thought I was going to die in my shop. I am not kidding. So when we got that rain yesterday afternoon, I'm going to tell you, your boy was not the least bit upset about it at all. Let's see here. So looks like 20% chance of rain this morning, but the high is only going to be in the low 80s. So I will take that. Your boy will take that all day. And it's going to get sunny, it looks like, around lunchtime. So we should have a nice weekend. A lot going on. All right, let's see here. So they brought Napoleon back. We're talking about, if you've been living under a rock this week, you hadn't listened to any of this show, don't know what we're talking about. They brought the Polo back, Napoleon, Cipher Voice, Edwards from Louisiana. They extradited him back up here, and he had his first initial appearance in court yesterday. They denied bond. No surprise there. When you run, you typically aren't going to get bond because I guess they consider you somewhat of a flight risk. And hey, I ain't gonna lie. If I killed somebody, I'd be a flight risk. If I like that, I would definitely be a flight risk. So I get that. But one of the greatest moments in recent local meme history, I mean, I feel like a meme has come to life. They bring Polo into that courtroom, and be dang if there ain't David Archie and Kelsey Malcolm Johnson, whatever first name he's using, sitting there staring at him. They got Polo wearing all pink, just emasculating him. And here he is staring at the two people that he's had the most beef with since this whole thing started. And I mean, at least since I've known him. And I mean, it just got me to thinking. I remember David Archie. I tried to pull the video up, but the only thing I could find is about 25 minutes long, and I just don't have time to weed through that. But when David Archie had Napoleon arrested last summer, not this past one, but two summers ago over the death threats or whatnot, and he got out there in front of the JPD headquarters, and he did that press conference where he kind of snapped, and he started calling him gut bucket, gut bucket. This is the end of one of the greatest rivalries in the history of this city. Gut bucket and David Archie rivalry is just about over. And I know there's a lot of people, man. I mean, look, not to get in anybody else's business, but I know that dude wreaked havoc on every local media personality because he thought he was the media. And look, I drank the Kool-Aid for a little bit, man. I thought the dude was legit. I really did. And, you know, every now and then you're wrong. I mean, one thing about me, I'll call a spade and say I was wrong. I was a poor judge of character. But I know I ain't the only person. But I should have listened to some folks when they told me, man, stay away from that guy. Stay away from that guy. But, hey, you know what? Live and learn, baby. And no matter how old I get, and that's why I try to, when I'm talking to my daughter about stuff, I try to be mindful that I was as hard-headed as she is, and I am still as hard-headed as she is. Somebody can sit there and say, Clay, don't walk through that fire. You're going to get burned. I just got burned. I'm like, I don't know, man, but I'm different. I'm different. I might not get burned. And still to this day, that's exactly what I do. Hey, man, learn from my mistakes. I've already paid the stupid tax. You don't have to pay it too. I'm telling you what not to do, but I still got to do it sometimes. And rolling with Napoleon was one of those situations. But, you know, let me start with this, because I hate to constantly talk about the alleged killer and not mention the victim again, Robert Bobby Davis. I mean, man, talk about I can't believe I didn't know this guy. I mean, we ran in a bunch of the same circles as far as people that we know. And maybe I have met him before, but I'm terrible with names, admittingly so. If I would barely remember my name if it wasn't my name. So, but look, you can follow the Save Jackson page. Crystal, my wife, is doing a great job of posting everything she can find from the family of Mr. Davis. You know, any kind of fundraisers they may do, just anything, any news that she gets, she's really staying on top of that. Nowadays I don't do a lot of the posting on Save Jackson. Crystal is really taking the reins there. I do these live videos, and I'll post some stuff here and there. But when you're in permanent Facebook jail, you know, you don't get the pleasure of doing that. So Crystal's really good. She knows the kind of content I like. So she's been doing a lot of that for me. But I was going to go back a little bit here and kind of talk about the rise and fall of Napoleon. It's amazing to think about. There was a point where it was around the time that he got arrested for the stuff with David Archie, when he had made those alleged death threats on Facebook Live or whatever, and they ended up arresting him and all that at the radio station out there, WPBQ, when he got through the show one day, or when he got there to do his show. I think marshals were there and they arrested him. And, you know, that opened up a whole thing. And next thing you know, they're doing press conferences with his lawyer. He's suing the city. I wonder whatever happened to all that stuff. But he was at the peak of his local influence at that point. And everybody knows he had that huge beef with the mayor and all that. The next thing you know, him and the mayor taking pictures with each other. They done got thick as thieves. You know, I got a lot of questions about that. Because I'm going to tell you, there's one person that you'll never see Clay Edwards. There ain't an amount of money. There ain't one person you'll ever see, if there's one person you'll ever see a picture of Clay Edwards with, and that is the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi. I ain't putting aside my differences. I think that man is intent on destroying the city that I was born and raised in, and be dang if we're fighting for the last lifeboat on the Titanic. I ain't riding down with him. It ain't happening. I'm not getting down, and then all that garbage contract stuff comes up, and you got Napoleon down there having a pants off, dance off, stare off with Aaron Banks. It just, clearly there's more to the story than the public will know. And it's going to be interesting to see if Napoleon decides to tell everything that he knows in an attempt to work a better deal. He made the mistake of doing it in Clinton, not Jackson. Might not have known he had crossed city lines, but Clinton ain't going to play. This is the only homicide of the year. It's going to be a clown show when this trial starts. They're going to make an example out of this one. And, somebody posted, I think actually Crystal shared the post on Save Jackson yesterday, and it said, why is he smiling in court? I was like, this is his last hurrah. I mean, when this is over, he may never see another camera again except in a booking photo. And, in Parchment or wherever he ends up. So it's going to be kind of his last hurrah. And again, I'm very careful to say if he's guilty, allegedly. You never know what can happen in court. We've seen some wild things, especially in Hinds County. So we'll see how it all shakes out. If it was self-defense, it was self-defense. It did 8, 9, 10 gunshot wounds does not appear to be self-defense. But I'm just a Facebook vaccine expert, an election expert. I don't know about exactly what they would consider self-defense for sure or not, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that wasn't the case, allegedly. All right. You're tuned in live to the Clay Edwards Show. If you're watching on Facebook Live, thank you guys for tuning in. Switch it over to 103.9 WYAB or WYAB.com. And if you can't do that, the TuneIn app is available. Also, the podcast of this show will be available on ClayEdwardsShow.com. When it's over, hit that share button. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll be right back after this break on 103.9 WYAB.
America, you love your country, so it goes without saying that you also love your ride. And Auto Armor in Flowood wants to help you make that ride shine. Auto Armor in Flowood is Central Mississippi's premier automotive detail and ceramic coating shop, servicing any type of vehicle, including ATVs, boats, and more. Need just a quick detail or paint correction? Auto Armor can make it happen. But if you're set to hit the road in a blaze of glory while flying the old red, white, and blue, Auto Armor should be your first and last call to give your ride a full ceramic coating. Auto Armor is locally owned and operated by the loud and proud American patriot Clay Edwards. Auto Armor also proudly backs the blue, all military, and first responders. So don't forget to ask for your discount. Call 601-260-0858. 601-260-0858. Or stop in today, fellow Americans. Auto Armor is located at 4394 Mangum Drive in Flowood. Online at AutoArmorMS.com. Auto Armor, unapologetically American.
All right, welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. We are live here in the 103.9 WYAB studios, and this segment is going to be brought to you by Complete Exteriors Roofing and Gutters. Complete Exteriors Roofing and Gutters in Pearl wants to help you determine who to use when seeking roof repair or work on your gutters. You need to choose a qualified, certified company that has a local brick and mortar building, a company that's been in business longer than 2 years, and offers a warranty. Complete Exteriors has a 4.9 Google review rating and has been in business for over 16 years. They're located right there on Highway 80 in Pearl, across from Rick's Pro Truck. Complete Exteriors Roofing and Gutters can provide you with a professional and honest look at your roof and gutters. Complete Exteriors, quality without compromise. You can check them out online at CompleteExteriorsMS.com. And they also offer roofs for troops. You get a $250 rebate on a new roofing system for all active veteran, and military retirees. All right, man, we have got a call on the Mac Hike of Flowwood phone line. Hey, you there, brother? Guess not. Let's see. Let's try this again here. All right.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can. You're on there.
Hey, man. I already dropped my daughter off at school this morning, but she'll be 9 Sunday, and she wanted me to call in so she could tell you that she is officially an aunt. I told her to call in and tell you her brother, had a baby, but she was quick to inform me it's my brother's wife had the baby. Because brothers can't have babies. Well,
don't tell a libtard that.
I know, right?
But we have pregnant men emojis. Yes, they can. Bill Gates told me they could.
Right? But she definitely knows that there's a male and a female are the only two genders, and that she's officially an aunt because her sister-in-law had a baby. So
yeah, well, congratulations. Congratulations to your brother.
Up at school, and it's one of those thin lines in between the house and the school that she gets to talk.
Yeah, man, I'm trying to not answer the phone until I get my monologue there off and kind of get the show going in the direction I need it to go. Otherwise, it kind of gets taken off track. But I do appreciate it. And look, happy birthday! She having a birthday Sunday.
Yeah, she'll be 9 years old.
Well, look, you can play this back on the podcast later for happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. All right, there you go.
All right, brother.
Hey, tell your brother I said congratulations too.
All right, appreciate it, man.
All right, brother. Have a blessed one.
All right, bye.
Good folks there, man. The Russian family. Known them for the better part of my adult life. Nathan and his brother Daniel. Good folks. Good folks. All right, man. So, again, if you want to call in, 601-879-0002 is the Mac Hike of Flowwood phone line. And if you want to text the show, 769-241-1944. I stumbled across Ted Fortenberry's, it's called Consider This. This is editorial for WLBT. He's the, vice president and general manager. And I forget that we've actually got what appears to be a based patriot over there at WLBT. You wouldn't know it all the time from some of their news stories, but yeah, I get it. So let's listen to this, man. This is about 3 minutes long. Enjoy. This is on WLBT.com.
Opinion by the editorial committee of WLBT and is presented by Vice President and General Manager Ted Fortenberry.
This week, a family event at the Mississippi Fairgrounds was upended when 3 young men began shooting at the crowd enjoying the festivities. Because of the quick response from local law enforcement, they likely saved the lives of many of the people attending the Mudbug Festival. Mississippi Ag Commissioner Andy Gibson, who oversees the fairgrounds, said the backlog of cases in the judicial system is a big part of the problem. He's right. Another major factor is many of the criminals have no fear of consequences when the courts are merely giving them a slap on the wrist and letting them walk, only to cause more terror and destruction. City leadership in Jackson is also dragging its feet on opening a misdemeanor jail, something that's desperately needed to reduce crime in the city. And in what is one of the most out-of-touch statements ever, Jackson Mayor Chokwe Antar Lumumba said he believes the city is safe. I bet the families of the 153 people murdered last year and the 42 people already murdered this year would disagree. There is, however, some help on the way. The state allocated millions of dollars this year to expand the ranks of the Capitol Police Department and hire more judges and prosecutors in Hinds County. It's a start, but that alone won't solve the problem. State leaders need to do more to make our capital city safer. They should expand the Capitol Complex Improvement District boundaries and create a separate court jurisdiction for that district. And with a goal of having 150 plus officers on the Capitol Police Force, they should give that law enforcement division a prominent headquarters in the former Naval Reserve Center. The building is owned by the state and sits empty. It's adjacent to the Capitol Police vehicle parking compound and sits directly across the street from the fairgrounds. It would be a highly visible police presence for the many events held year-round at the State Fairground Complex. The state also needs to expedite the demolition plans for the former Dennery's building and OEO Hotel, 2 properties the state now owns. And they should move forward with eminent domain to acquire the Regency Hotel and raise that facility as soon as possible. That stretch of derelict properties only creates more safety issues. And finally, they should close the Graymont Street perimeter road around the Coliseum and make that part of the fairgrounds property. Until these and many other important changes take place, don't be surprised if the very real crime problems in our capital city continue.
All right, so Ted makes some great points there. I do like the idea of turning the old naval building right there across from the fairgrounds behind the museums. Y'all all know the building he's talking about. It's right under the Pearl Street Bridge there. I like the idea of turning that into the Capitol Police headquarters. That would create a strong presence for law enforcement when there's events down at the fairgrounds. And I like it. I like it. It's nice to hear somebody in the media do these old school, that's the bottom line. He actually says that. Hang on. I want y'all to hear that if he didn't already say it.
Unlike Jackson's mayor, many people do not feel safe in the city. That's not an exaggeration, not a political soundbite. That's just the plain truth. As WLBT's former owner and GM Frank Melton would say, that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line. Jackson. What are we going to do with you, Jackson? What are we going to do? People ask me all the time, Clay, what would you do to save Jackson? How would you fix it? And I answered, it's easy to say. I know, I want to revisit this too. It's easy to say martial law. I get it. And it's not a feasible option either. I am not a give the government more control guy. I'm really not. And I had a conversation, I think it was on Instagram of all places, with somebody about this very subject. Or maybe it was Twitter. It was Twitter. And I said, he was like, man, I listened to your show and you suggested martial law. He's like, I know you were kind of kidding. He's like, but we definitely can't do that. And I thought about it. I was like, you're right. I said, the best way to decide if you want a government program in place is how that government program would be used if your enemies have control. Look no further than the new Ministry of Truth. All right, man, we've got a caller here on the Mac Hike of Flowwood phone line. Hey, caller, you're on there.
Hey, good morning, friend. How you doing?
Hey, brother, how are you this morning, Derek?
Hey, fine. People have asked me how would I change, how would I make things better in the capital city. I said, well, here's the thing. You got to understand what are the 4 catalysts that causes high crime. And then they always use that talking point. People like that noodleback I thought we mentioned earlier. I don't want to say his name because it's an insult to my Eastern philosophy teachings. But they'll say these little things to try to sound good. Well, there's crime everywhere else. No, we're talking about high-volume crime. Stop padding the numbers. Stop using wordplay like the mayor did, right? When he used to repeat that whole thing, overall crime is down. No, wrong. Petty crime, maybe, but we're talking about high-volume crime. That's caused by 4 catalysts that he's a part of. 1 is a corrupt government. 2 is a poor education system. 3 is unemployment, which leads to poverty. Those are the 4 things necessary to have high-volume crime. If you tackle at least one of those things, crime will plummet.
Yeah, well, just the corruption alone. You're setting a standard that says this stuff's okay. I was having a conversation with somebody last night. Is that there's got to be a state agency that can sit there and say, we can't do this. We cannot do this. We cannot allow this corruption to continue. And they've got to step in. I don't know I don't believe Shad White's office can do it because they can't do municipalities. They can only do like county stuff. But at some point, somebody's going to have to step in and say, we're not doing this anymore.
Right. Now, secondly, let's say, for instance, if by some miracle the voters of Jackson start voting libertarian or conservative, and we get not necessarily a black or white candidate in there, but a libertarian conservative type of person or patriot in the office. Say somebody like Kim Wade. Okay, The first thing you're going to do is destroy and tear down the current leadership structure at the Jackson Police Department, because you got to understand one thing. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for it. A lot of the leaders there in Jackson are affirmative action hires. They have an affirmative action mindset. They have a poor man's mindset, meaning that they use the power to enrich themselves and not necessarily others, but they feel like they got to right something wrong that they probably never even suffered from. You understand? So you got to get rid of the command structure there and start bringing in all new people. Then you have to do exactly what Mayor Johnny Dupree did, and that's to recruit all around the state. Because as long as you're recruiting from the pool that you got, you're going to get what you get. And that's how you start changing things from within. And that's the one catalyst out of the four that you can change on the spot, and you'll see crime rate plummet.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. You got it. They love to use the phrase root cause. You got to get to the root cause of this of what's going on here and get it fixed. You got to just, we have code enforcement, we have laws, we have all this stuff on the books. It's time to start enforcing the stuff you have on the books and quit trying to skirt around it, and quit trying to hold these people's hands and these babies just need hugs. We just got to let them know we love them. We don't. That's not our job.
And I don't love them. I mean, hug a thug, I hang a thug. I mean, now some people might get queasy for me saying that, but hey, sometimes they need to go back to courthouse hangings.
The only hands I want to put around them is around their necks.
Yeah, you gotta start swatting, flies with hammers at this situation. At this juncture, you know what I mean? Because you've already lost control. So this hugging and special programs and all this stuff ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work, Clay. You can come up with all the foo-foo programs you want. It's not gonna help because you're already at the point of no return.
Look, Kim has been on a great point here lately, talking about button up your purses, your wallets, and say, sorry, can't do it. Give them a little bit, let them hang out to dry, and they will figure it out. I know the state is sick and tired. You can tell Tate Reeves has had it. And
right.
That's why he wasn't at that press conference the other day when they were talking about the Jackson crime stuff and this, that, and the other.
I didn't see the mayor. Did you?
I didn't either. Well, because they're not getting he ain't getting the money he wants.
Yeah. Well, see, again, he's basically a little crybaby, just like he didn't show up when President Trump came for the opening of the museum, for the dedication of the museum. He's a little crybaby. He's a little crybaby whiner. And I noticed you was talking about a good friend of mine and yours earlier. That's the only thing I started to side-eye him on, because he started all of a sudden being buddy-buddy with the mayor. And that didn't make any sense to me.
That's where he lost credibility with me, because I knew what it was about. At that point, it became about money. It didn't become about nothing else. And I ain't never going to hate somebody's hustle, but you can't ride that lightning and not expect to crash like thunder.
Clay, you got to know me through Kim Wade, and he got to know me one time because we debated once when I foolishly backed Jason Wells. But one thing he said about me on this thing, he said one thing about me. He called my name. He's like that I'm straight up. I'm blunt. I'm unwavering, and I say what I say, and I mean what I mean, and I practice what I preach. But I considered him a fellow colleague, and it's unfortunate, but he started to become inconsistent. And when you start becoming inconsistent, that's when the thread starts unraveling. It's just like pulling an Irish pennant off the shirt. One thread will start unraveling many threads.
Man, you hit the nail on the head there, brother. Derek, what you got planned for the weekend?
I got to go help my dad, in the family business. One of our log trucks, engine messed up in it, so I got to go help him find an engine for it. So I still help family business every now and again, That's about it. And then resting, and then it's going to be all about the number one lady in my life.
That's what's
Sunday,
up.
And my mom, my mom and my wife. So
Yeah, we're gonna go out and eat Saturday night for Mother. We're gonna do a little sneak in a night early, get Mother's Day in a night early, and Saturday morning I'm gonna go out to McLean's to the Rankin County Republican breakfast at 8:00. If anybody wants to join us there, get out there about 7:30. It starts at 8. They got breakfast, the whole 9 yards. You got to pay for it. It's free to get in, but you got to pay for breakfast.
When is that? I'm right up the street from it. When is that?
Saturday morning. I think people start getting there about 7:30, and they'll have a guest speaker. All that typically starts right around 8. It's going to be a great event. Come join us.
Okay, yeah, like I said, I live right there in that neighborhood.
Yeah, there's a crew of us coming. I don't want to speak for everybody else on the radio here, but there's a crew of us going, and I'll definitely be there. You'll enjoy it.
But Clay, let me say this real quick. People, when it comes to voting these judges in, and these politicians and, these attorneys and things like that, when they use little code words like low recidivism rate or reduced sentencing or all this other stuff and reducing bonds and things like that, it's pretty much open and shut what you're going to get. You can't get low recidivism from people who have no direction or have been given no type of purpose in life. Okay? They become what we call institutionalized. So you can sit here and say, low sentencing and over policing and all this type of stuff, but these foundations are necessary. Think of it like a garden. If you grew up in a garden, there were certain things you had to do. You couldn't make your crops grow, but you had to create the conditions necessary for growth to occur. Tilling the soil, nurturing the soil, watering the soil, fertilizing the crops, getting the weeds out, keeping the pests away. These are the things you got to do to grow a garden. A city and municipality is no different.
Yep. All right, Derek. Appreciate you, brother. Great call there from Derek. All right, man, we're going to take a break real quick. You're listening to The Clay Edwards Show. We'll be right back after this on 103.9 WYAB. Welcome back into the Friday edition of The Clay Edwards Show. If you want to call in, the Mac Haik of Flowood phone line is 601-879-0002. The text line is 769-241-1944. And this segment is going to be brought to you by Watkins Construction and Roofing. A roof repair can cause you a lot of stress. Choosing the right roofing company to repair your roof is very important. Most contractors will try to convince you that replacement is the only way to go, and that, my friends, is not the Watkins way. They believe in an honest assessment that doesn't necessarily mean replacement. In most cases, all you need is a repair. So whether you have a leaky roof, you need chimney roof repair, flat roof repair, roof water leak, shingle roof repair, metal roof repair, chimney flashing repair, Watkins Construction and Roofing is your go-to roof repair specialist as we head into what traditionally is the rainiest month of the year. In May, you'll find out real quick if you need Watkins Construction and Roofing. I promise you. Look, so give them a call. They'll come out. They're going to do a complimentary roof assessment. The phone number is 601-966-8233, or check them out online at watkinsconstructioninc.com. Michael Deere and his team, Johnny Casada, Jamie Price, good folks down there. They will take care of you. Tell them you heard it here on the Clay Edwards Show. Little side note here, something non-Jackson related for just a second. I saw yesterday where Georgia has passed a bill into a law, or however you want to word that. But moving forward, no mans pretending to be a woman's, or vice versa, can participate in youth sports anymore, or college, or whatever, non-professional sports. So if you are a Leah Thomas, don't go to Georgia. You ain't gonna be able to play. You ain't playing balls. You ain't playing other ball sports or swimming sports in Georgia. So kudos to Georgia. They says whoever whatever man or woman sport you choose to play in, it has to be what matches up on your birth certificate as your sex, not gender, your sex. Are you a boy or are you a girl? Period. Don't matter what you think you are. Don't matter what TikTok told you were. Are you a boy or are you a girl? That is the sport you will have to play. So, golf clap here in the studio for the state of Georgia. We just got to get back to normal, man. We can have our political disagreements, and I know all hell is about to break loose with the abortion stuff and Roe versus Wade and being overturned, and the purple-haired baristas are about to burn it all down. But trust me, there's a lot more normal people. Quit getting baited into that crap. But it will be interesting to see this. Let the patriot in me come out for a second. It will be interesting to see if the purple-haired baristas, the LGBTQ, LMNOP, BLM chapter of the Purple Hair Baristas Union, if they decide to cause an insurrection of sorts and storm the Supreme Court or burn down stuff, what would Joe Biden's chance, what would his perspective be on that? Would he call them the most extreme political party in history? I'm like, he called us extreme mega the other day. Like, is that a bad thing? Is that an insult? As a matter of fact, I am extreme mega. A mega. I think I've just come up with a new character. Maybe I'll go to one of these Comic-Con conventions and I'll cosplay and I'll be mega. It just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? I'm curious. I thought about this the other day. We got a few minutes before the next break here. Looking back in hindsight, through the summer of 2020 and January 6th and everything that's happened, if these fools decide to pop off again and start burning down cities and rioting and looting and all that stuff, will you continue to sit on your hands and say, as long as it doesn't affect, as long as it don't come out here, as long as it don't come to Brandon, as long as it don't come to Pearl, as long as it don't come to Madison, will you continue to sit on your hands and do nothing, or will you go to the fight? Now, I know there was some stuff in Brandon. They went with the statue stuff, and I went to the quote-unquote Antifa rally in Madison, and that's where I get all this purple-haired barista stuff from. They had the Patriots in one section, in one bullpen. Then they had the purple-haired baristas, Antifa, over here in another bullpen, and they were just doing their cute little chants. They all had on skinny jeans. I mean, just imagine your typical upper-middle-class white kid pretending to be playing Jackson for the day. That's what, like down in Fondren, the kind you would see down there, little yuppie liberal, whatever you want to call them. Anyway, purple-haired baristas for the sake of this conversation. Man, I just want to know. I mean, will you allow it to happen again, or will you go to the fight? Because I've had to ask myself that very question. And we went to everything locally we could. I think it's time to suit up and boot up. I really do. I think I don't think America is going to be able to take any more of this without us fighting back. There's way more of us. They can't cancel everybody. They just can't. They cannot cancel everybody. If we all stand up and fight back simultaneously, they can't cancel everybody. Just like with the BLM riots, they couldn't arrest everybody, so they arrested nobody. And I firmly believe if we decide to stand up and fight back, whether it be digitally, whether it be through information, or whether it be physically when we have to. And we talked about that with Anson yesterday. Get in shape. Get in shape, because you never know when it may be go time. What will you do when they come knocking at your door? I know what a lot of y'all do. I'm just kind of teasing y'all. But these are questions you need to ask. What will you do? Will you be ready? Will you be ready? Or will you be ready to face what's on the other side of that door? They come marching down Main Street again. You got to take the fight to them. That's what pushed me into doing all this, was I decided to take the fight to them. I mean, look, I know I'm going to be number one on a lot of these folks' lists. Well, maybe right up under Kim Wade. But I'm going to be number one or two on a lot of these folks' lists. They do not like your boy. I promise. All right, look, man, we're going to take our last break here. You listen to The Clay Edwards Show. We'll be right back on 103.9 WYAB. All right, welcome back into The Clay Edwards Show as we get ready to land the plane for the week. I will be here for another hour, but it won't be doing The Clay Edwards Show. I'll be filling in for Jim Thorne, hosting his music show today, and we've got some guests out there in the studio. Really looking forward to it, but it will not be the political stuff. But I would still love for you to tune in and check it out, man. I love interviewing people, so I'm really looking forward to this one. Love interviewing musical guests. Nonetheless, got a couple blues artists out there, married couple. They're playing the big event up in Ridgeland this weekend. So it'd be fun conversation. But look, this segment's going to be brought to you by Take a Break Deliveries, Central Mississippi's only locally owned and veteran-owned food delivery service. They're now serving most all of Central Mississippi, Byram, Florence, Clinton. You've been added to the circle. So give them a download. Go to your App Store or Google Play Store, download Take a Break Deliveries, or just go to the website if you're on a computer, takeabreakdeliveries.com. They got a ton of locally owned restaurants on there. They attempt to get you your food within 45 minutes, and the food waits on them. They wait on the food. The food doesn't wait on them. I say that backwards every time. But each driver is only assigned one order at a time. So your food isn't going to the end of a line in the backseat of the driver's car while it's getting to you. They pick your food up, they bring it to you, they go back and pick up another order. So your food's always hot and fresh. Look, all the shows going to be available on ClayEdwardsShow.com or on all major podcasting platforms. It'll be on YouTube later. Y'all can follow me at Save Jackson on all major social media platforms. You can just go type in Clay Edwards. I'm everywhere, man. You can find me. And I'll be back here Monday morning. I've got Hardy Case in studio with me from California. Y'all take care, and we'll be back here in just a few minutes with the Jim Thorne Show.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next week as the Clay Edwards Show discusses all that is going on in and around the city of Jackson.
This concludes our broadcast day.
Right here on 103.9 WYAB.